Here. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming and joining us for Sexual Health and Everything. This is a community that is going to decrease stigma around STIs or just talking about sexual health in general, and just acknowledge that sexual health crosses so many different topics. Today, we're going to be talking about pleasure, and it's a series that we're doing. So, today, we're going to be talking about food and how sex can increase, or foods can increase your libido. Today I have Frenchie Davis with us. You may recognize her from our Sexual Health and Everything launch. So that was a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, you can go back on all of our platforms and see that launch and see everything that we're doing for Sexual Health and Everything campaign. And Frenchie is a sexual health abolitionist. I hope I said that right.
Sexual abolitionist?
Yes. And basically today we're going to be talking about libido, how foods can increase that. But I do want to give a quick disclaimer. If you're 18 or under, we just want to be mindful that these are different topics that may not be suitable for you, or if you're just not used to.
They're the juicy topics your parents might flip out. Yes. So make sure that everything is all good so you can come in here and play with us and talk about sex, food, libido, and eating well. Just tell your folks it's about eating well.
Yes. Yes. So we want to do a quick icebreaker, just kind of to break the ice, but we want to know, what are you drinking today? So you can put that in the comments.
Let me see what I have brought along with me today. I have a little Frisianet, for the grown and sexy.
What are people drinking? It's after 5. It's happy hour time.
It is.
Yes. Okay. So we have happy hour time, and we should be getting happy. Why? Because we're talking about how eating well helps you have better sex.
Yes. Yes.
Oh. See, we need the reason that people aren't eating well because they don't know that it helps with their sex lives.
Yes.
So if the doctors would have said, "Hey, listen, this helps with your sex life. This makes your sex life amazing, makes your body feel good, makes your body parts smell great and feel great," then maybe they might get a different response. That's why we have all of this delicious food out here and all of these items. What do you think?
Yes. And I have my lovely water. I've been training, so I've been trying to drink my water.
Water rush your insides.
Yes. But we do have some other drinks here. Frenchie, we have the McBride Sisters, Red Blend, which is a Black-owned, women-owned company.
Let me pull this over so that everyone can see. We need to have this so you can zoom into this item. Yes, it is the Red Blend, and we did choose red for a specific purpose. So we have a purpose with all the items that we have here in front of us that we're going to be highlighting today. So yes, shout out to all the all the Black wineries, and liquor makers. Sometimes we only hear about the popular ones, like hip hop artists, but it's plenty of us doing the work, right? We're definitely doing the work and definitely making sure that we're responsible and inebriated.
Yes, and you can find that at your local Trader Joe's. So they have it now at Trader Joe's, so you can find that, the McBride Sisters.
Awesome. Is anyone else, has everyone put in what they are
drinking,
are sipping on? You feel like you missing out? Just stay tuned because we have so much for you. So just stay tuned. This is going to be a really fun discussion.
Yes.
It's definitely going to be a fun discussion. So we're going to get into,
let's just go right in.
Let's dig into some of the more controversial topics that you and I had previously discussed.
Yes.
You brought up, maybe I'm older and a bit outdated at times. I acknowledge that. I'm proud to be where I am. But we were talking about stripper water.
Mm-hmm.
Stripper water.
Yes.
Who's heard of stripper water? If you've heard of stripper water, hit the like button, hit the wave button. If you've heard of stripper water, what is stripper water? For our guests that are watching, explain what people perceive stripper water to be. I see someone's trying a sugar-free one from Dry Farm Wines.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. So what is stripper water?
So the rumor is, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
The
rumor is, I saw a TikTok like months ago when quarantine first started. TikTok as a whole is
So now we're digging into that, people, those who identify as women,
mm-hmm.
are concerned about vaginal secretions, vaginal odors.
Yes.
And so they think they found the remedy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no remedy. So what do you think about that and those concerns? Now, the concerns are valid. They're historically grounded. What did you first think when you're like stripper water? Did you want to go and make some stripper water? How did it make you feel when you heard about the stripper water?
If you asked me this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I honestly would have probably tried it. I probably would be drinking it right now in the jug. Mm-hmm. Another way to badge shame women into thinking that we are supposed to be like flowers and taste like fruit and all these great things, and we have to realize that our vaginas have has our own aroma, and we have to be aware of that. Mm-hmm. And we have to be aware of what we taste like and how our secretions are. So discharge is normal. If you asked me 3 years ago, like, well, what's that? I think I have, a vaginitis or something. It's just discharge.
So there are various types of discharge,
yes,
right, that come from the vulva.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should all be mindful that, particularly if we are engaging in sex, what is great is that we should be monitoring our bodies.
Yes.
So that if we see changes, particularly sudden changes that had not existed before we were intimate with our partners, mm-hmm. is something to be aware of.
Yes.
Right? So first, I always recommend that we make our gynecologist one of our best friends.
Yes.
That's your buddy. That is your partner. She's going to make sure that your vulva and vagina are in good, sound, pristine health.
Yes.
So that's your woman's auto mechanic for your body, mm-hmm. right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our gynecologist is our body mechanic.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we have to make sure that we are checking under the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Under our clitoral hood.
Yep.
In between the labia majora and the labia minor. The hood. The gynecologist is going to check. Isn't she pretty? It's nice and chocolate and everything. Hey, girl, how you doing? Okay. So your gynecologist, your body mechanic, she's going to make sure that everything is sound in the hood.
Right.
And your gynecologist, they have such good sense of smell.
Yep.
They can say, all right, everything checks out. Or mm-hmm. they might say, okay, you might need some more oil.
Mm-hmm.
Or they might say, okay, you might need to change your diet.
Yep.
Or they might say, okay, we should do a pap smear and do an STI and an STD exam and just make sure that everything is checked out well under the hood.
Right.
So this is important to know. Our gynecologist, I love my gynecologist.
So how often should we see our gynecologist?
It can vary. If you have multiple partners,
mm-hmm.
I might suggest that you at least see your gynecologist at least twice a year.
Okay.
And that if you are taking any type of precautionary methods, whether you are or you are not, just make sure that you visit at least twice a year. Other than that, they may even suggest, I always have my annual birthday pap smear.
Okay.
So that's my gift to myself because I love myself.
Yeah.
And I love her too. Yay, group hug. So, but at least schedule an appointment every year, have a standing appointment around your birthday.
Yeah.
Thing
That's
checks
fair.
out, you're feeling good. You could do it. You could do a New Year's pap smear.
I like
check
doing
out
New Year.
See, or you could do a birthday.
Yeah.
You could do a Christmas. It could be a Christmas gift. Christmas, you love yourself. Give yourself a gift. So set it. Make it your personal tradition. Make sure you go see your mechanic. Like we don't let our cars just. Even our cars need tune-ups and checkups, and so if that's the vehicle, imagine what's going on with our body. So we should definitely always get checked out, and then we don't have to drink things called stripper water.
Well, speaking of mechanics, I want to talk about interactions because when we're driving, there's other people on the road that we may interact with.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about our interactions with our partners. So if I'm in check and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, going to the gynecologist a couple times a year, eating healthy or eating foods that increase my libido, how can my partner or how can these interactions affect me?
Well, it depends upon how they engage with their mechanic too. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we don't, particularly when we're talking about cisgendered partners, a lot of times our partners aren't getting checked out at all. And since they oftentimes, if it is a man, they are oftentimes asymptomatic.
Yes.
Which means that what it may be malfunctioning may not register. Our bodies is kind of like a dashboard. We kind of light up.
Right.
We have cysts in our breasts. We're like, oh, that's tender. If we have vaginosis or some type of bacterial infection, our dashboard lights up.
Yep.
But unfortunately, a lot of men, their dashboard doesn't light up. Mm-hmm. So, they just have to get a regular oil change. So we have to entice them and motivate them to make sure that they are also getting checked out. So that's really important also. Especially if you have, multiple drivers in that car.
Yes, absolutely.
We're not saying that you can't have other riders in your car. We're just saying that you have to make sure that you're seeing your mechanic for your checkup and seeing your body mechanic. So that's what we're going to do. I see one of our visitors says, yeah, I like that. New year, new checkup. Yeah, I mean, it should be a celebration. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we come through a history of a lot of sex negativity.
Yes.
Right. And so we always work here, Heart to Hand, to make sure that we have a sex positive conversation about this, a shame-free conversation about what is happening with our bodies and how amazing it is and how beautiful it is, including our relationship with our vulvas and our vagina. And I think we have to also remember to acknowledge that there's this history, there's a religious history of a lot of times how, women would have to go away if they had their menses. And we have all these horrid names for our menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Aunt Flo, who else do we have? We got to send our aunt away. What are some other?
We have Aunt Flo, the Red.
You guys send us some of these crazy, stupid, negative names that we have learned for our period.
Aunt Dot doesn't sound too affirming. Like Aunt Dot, oh, here she comes.
It's not affirming at all. And so when you have negative tropes and ideologies like that, you don't get to appreciate your body like it should be appreciated. And then you think everything is wrong about it.
Right.
So I like to say, this is really cool. You guys can Google this. It's really funny. Did you know that the shark brain is the exact same shape as a uterus?
No.
It's very cool. If you all go Google it, you'll see that the shark's brain looks just like a uterus. It's really, really cool. So I always say, oh, honey, it's Shark Week. Because, and I'm in my feelings and I'm feeling emotional and sensitive, I will eat your ass up. So, to be kind to me around Shark Week, and sharks are these beautiful creatures that swim the ocean. So I like to say that my menses is my Shark Week when when I'm having my
Nice.
menses. So that's what I like to call her. So again, we keep positive with it. We don't,
Yeah.
a lot of people are bothered and agitated when the body is saying, hey, I'm here, everything's in working order, it's all functioning. Look, you could even, have children if you want to. Like, all of these positive things are going on with the body, and unfortunately, we've just had this kind of negative association with it. So here, though, we're reversing it all.
Yeah, I like to call mine actually Queen V. So
Hey,
kind of
Queen
give her
V.
like a royalty name, because if I call her royalty, I'm going to treat her like royalty. So we're going to make sure we get a checkup with our doctor. We're eating healthy. We're going to treat her like the queen that she is.
I like that because then when our bodies are changing, and then too, we're not even preparing guys around it. Our young girls are starting their menses in school, some of them in grade school, some of them in high school, and then you have goofball boys, or she has a menses accident and she comes through her clothing, and all of a sudden it's just, it's dawn of a new age, and the earth is going to shatter, as opposed to just like, okay, I had a slip day is not a big deal.
Right.
So we definitely have to. So we can get into some of that. What do we have here?
So we have a lot of different foods from a lot of different food groups, actually.
These are some of my favorites right here. These are my friends here. This is what we have: egg whites, almonds, cashews, and dates. But what's important is that is wrapped in chocolate, because chocolate is your friend. Dark chocolate, to be specific, is your friend.
Yeah.
So this helps your body. So if you got a sweet tooth, maybe you might want to stay away from the Sour Patch Kids, but you can delve into a little dark chocolate. So that's, and we like dark chocolate because we dark chocolate. So you should eat dark chocolate. Like, come on, this is a win-win. Okay, this one has egg whites, almonds, cashews, and dates. So if you don't have a nut allergy, this is a great contribution to your libido.
Yes.
So, yes, we can rock out with this. What else do we have on here?
So we have some spinach, which is actually one of my favorites, especially now while I'm doing this challenge. I like to put this in my smoothies, actually. So,
I do too.
Yeah.
What else do you put in your smoothie? I use yogurt, almond milk, raspberries, blueberries. Yeah, I rock out.
Yeah, so I like to use a pineapple, peach, strawberry mix, which is kind of some of the ones that we have here. Spinach.
And you don't even have to call it stripper water.
No, you don't have to call it stripper water. Just enjoy your fruit the way it is.
So easy. It's so easy. So you're on a date, feeling good, looking cute, ready.
Yep.
Looking at that menu, you got your menu. And you're going to have all of these options, so we should be mindful that even the options that we're choosing at that time can enhance our libido or can shrink our sexual desires. Like this, even though this is only 90 calories, which I really appreciate because I love champagne, and champagne also gives women a glow after they drink it. So that's real cool too. So I really appreciate that. I like the glow. And it's only 90 calories, so I appreciate that. But people forget that alcohol is a depressant.
Yes.
And that means libido goes boom, 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 right?
And oftentimes we hear that it's not. We're like, okay, I'm going to hook up. Let me get some liquor, have a good time.
See, it's a distortion of your feeling and your control. So you feel like it's upping you, but it's actually a sexual depressant. So you have to be mindful of the alcohol that you drink if you so choose to date and drink. And if you're on your little COVID date, and whether you are online or in person, face to face, mask down, we're seeing each other on the other side of the mask today. That's where you might want to dip into a little red wine. Right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at the menu.
Hmm.
There are other things that we can order. What are some of the other things that we can order so that we can have a good, tasty, libido fulfilled date?
Well, I'm thinking about the sides first.
What kind of size?
So we can do like a sauteed spinach.
Come on.
Or some yams if you're at a soul food restaurant.
Sweet potato fries.
Oh, sweet potato fries.
Come through. Okay. So we have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a Tex-Mex place, maybe some avocado.
Okay, if y'all doing tacos, let me tell you what guac can do in your life. Let me tell you, these avocados are your body's, your vulva's friend. Push that guac through, love. It, this is body love.
Yeah, it is.
Just eating tacos and having a little guac, like this is a win, right?
Even if you're on a brunch date, you can have some avocado toast.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like avocado fries.
Had that before.
Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready for them avocado fries.
And you can even mix some of these products together.
You can. Why do we have these? And two, you not only need spice in your sex life, but you need spice in your food. You got these chilies and these peppers.
Yeah.
Because they're good for your libido. Also, like this is everything. I love that. We can make a good pepper avocado salad with spinach and mango,
a little
basil, and hook it up and be right for the loving. Ain't that nice? Be right for the good loving. And we have again, minus nut allergies.
Yes.
And things like, you have to go with the other nut instead of this nut. And that's totally fine. But we want to make sure that everybody has all their options, right?
Right.
So that's really important as well. So I really dig this. We have other versions of dark chocolate. And you know what I appreciate really when we were working on collecting these items to show and share with our viewing audience, what did this come up to?
$23.
That was with tax.
Yeah, with tax.
So we saying that we can have high libido, eat really well, eat healthy, and have great sex.
Yes.
$20. See, a lot of times we do feel like, the healthiest foods are the most expensive.
Yeah, it's a misconception.
That we are getting better, or you can go to Grandma's Garden. You can go to where they used to have the markets, right?
The Union Market,
Yeah, you can go to the markets and let's support our local farmers while we are supporting our libido and good sexual health.
Yes. And we'll actually provide that in the description afterwards, or the links after the live. Some of our farmer markets, some places you can get these really good alternatives instead of going to
when you're
McDonald's and getting a 4 for $4 or Wendy's 4 for $4.
When you're making your veggie lasagna.
Oh yeah, that sounds really good.
When you're adding the basil into your pasta, or even including your yams in your pasta, you can make a yam pasta as well.
What about our proteins though?
We can't leave out the proteins because I like meats and fishes. One of the best ones though is the salmon. Yes. So if you are, I love. I probably have salmon about 2-3 days a week.
Same.
When I can't. I'm one of those people though, because I love all fish. I like fish with the head on it. Not everybody can. I
can do it.
I'm like the good meats right there behind the eyes. Like that's just me. It's okay.
I don't know, but I just like the way it looks. So the presentation looks nice.
It's beautiful with some onions and garnish and peppers. Like this is and tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Rock out with, and even if you don't like them in your salad, you can just dice a few tomatoes, dab a little salt and pepper on there, get you some mozzarella. Yeah. And look at that. You got a good supported sex life. Yeah. From tomato. Add it to your avocado. Yes. Tomato, just good sexo. That's all we need here. Yes. This is it. We are winning. How are we looking so far? We have talked about ideal dishes. We have talked about how nuts help. You know, if you have a nut allergy, you have to keep with the other nuts, but you have other alternatives. What else do we have around here? We've got our chocolates, our avocados.
I want to talk
What are we
about the cleanup process. Because although we're talking about, you know, eating healthy and foods that increase our libido, I want to make sure that we are prepared, you know, while we're just going about our daily lives and before we have sex. So, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions of how we wash our vulva, and I just want you to go into that because there's a lot of things that I didn't know growing up that I was doing that I should have been doing. So
I feel like cleaning our bodies, especially for women, has just been a secret. Why y'all keep that secret from these girls and from these women? That wasn't nice. Generation after generation, we keep vulva secrets from our ladies, and that's not a good thing. And so from that, again, the history of this misconception that women are somehow dirty, that having a menstrual cycle is some type of curse. They used to call it the curse. What are you doing?
Nicknames like fish.
The fish. And again, sometimes odors are indicative and point out that your body is stressed.
Yes.
That your diet is not where we have our diet today. That you might have taken some sexual risks that you should check out as well.
Right.
And that's totally okay. What is always okay is that you get checked out, you take a pill, and then you go on, you live to fight and eat another day and have sex another day. That's all that matters, right? So, you know, some people are trying to what we call douche in a way. And let me first say this is very important. Ladies, your vulva, your vagina. So the vulva is the outside, the vagina is activities. We should not be putting perfumed items into our vulva. One is not going to last. 2, it doesn't belong there. 3, it agitates the skin. And you don't want an agitated vagina when you're trying to make love to people. That's the last thing you need is an agitated vagina. Keep those fragrances out of where they don't belong. Your vulva does not need perfume.
Nope.
Okay? It's totally okay to not want to fragrance your vagina. That is, your queen bee doesn't need.
No.
She's a self-cleaning oven.
She doesn't need
She's fine and fabulous. They come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
As they are.
Yeah.
Right? And so we want to make sure that we're using good water. If you decide to use some soaps, I would say even as a young girl, make sure that you are checking with your body mechanic, your gynecologist. They might be up on some new information that you may not be aware of. And so you want to make sure that you're using the right products that work for you and your body. Everyone's pH balance is different. Everyone's pH balance can change considering their environment, considering their lovers, considering their birth control methods. All of these ingredients play a role in the variable of how you should treat your personal vagina.
Yes.
So that's really, really important.
It is. And I did want to just kind of plug in a Black-owned company called The Honey Pot. This is the sensitive wash. It is plant-based. So we want to make sure that we're cleaning our vulvas and not our vaginas with this soap. So the outside, of course,
and don't put no yogurt up in there either.
I've seen that.
Putting yogurt up in there. We should say that the battery is getting a little low on the computer. Yes, to give a highlight about that.
Okay.
But you know, we can get kinky, but we shouldn't get so kinky that we are putting things in our vaginas that don't belong there, that may cause future problems and challenges. So don't do that. You know, toys work great.
Yeah.
Food, not so much. Items that burn. Not so much. Needs an extension. Let me see. So these are just the things that we really need to be mindful of. And if you have questions, or if you want to do like a little powwow group to talk about these things, mom, if you grew up in a household where there was a lot of shame around it and you don't know how to have these conversations, it's okay. Just reach out to us. We're here to support you.
Yes. So I do want to go into the 7 myths, or some myths that I came in contact with.
Have some more of my calories.
So the first one is low sex drive is your fault.
No. There are a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that we're here presenting today is because changing your diet or enhancing your natural eating habits, right? So diet is you killing something, I always say. The first 3 letters of diet is die. So I always say, instead of taking things away, we're just going to add to.
Right.
So we're going to add these things to our daily eating habits, and then just pile that on, and then it pushes the other stuff that we don't necessarily need down. But there are a lot of reasons why we may not have desires. There are stresses. There are environmental factors. There, you may not any longer have the same connectivity to your partner.
Yes.
Your pheromones change. Your body changes, and so we oftentimes smell people. Well, we smell people before we see them.
Right.
So if you're no longer smelling them, or they're not, just their whole body, their whole presence, if that's not turning you on, your libido may not be there. But it's certainly not something that we say it's your fault if you don't want to have sex.
Right.
Sometimes if it's an extended period of time, we want to go see our body mechanic.
Yes.
And talk about those things. There might be hormonal changes, but simply if you don't have that desire, that's totally okay. But I still advise have some of these mangoes, child, and some of these bananas and these tomatoes, and you'll still smile and be okay.
Yes. And I also kind of want to emphasize that sometimes even with our libido, that maybe your needs are not being met in these situations. So just kind of check your relations or your relationships if you're in a relationship, and see if your needs are being met, because that can also have an effect on your libido.
I want to co-sign that, because a lot of times when we start entering into relationships early on, a lot of girls have been socialized to feel like they're there to meet the needs of their partners.
Yes.
And then they forget about their own personal needs, or they're not acknowledging their personal needs. Your needs come first, and then if they happen to be there, that's nice. That's a little cherry on top. But your needs always come first, right? So your orgasm is a priority. If you are not orgasmic, your bodily pleasure is still a priority, and that's totally okay too. Because a lot of people also think that you have to have an orgasm to enjoy sex too.
Oh yeah.
So that's another total myth. So we can dispel that as well.
So the second one, you kind of already answered it, is everyone has some level of sexual desire. So you kind of answered that already. So I want to go into the third one. Lack of sexual desires isn't a problem if you don't have a partner. So it isn't a problem if you don't have a partner. So if you're single, it's not really an issue.
No, it's not. And it's a great time for self-love if you choose to participate in masturbation. We call that self-love.
Yes.
And if you want to engage in self-love, that's another way. It's great for minimizing depression. It's great as a sleeping aid. You don't have to use that Motrin PM. You just masturbate and you go right off to sleep. It's very nice. So there are definitely alternatives whether you're partnered or not partnered.
Okay. And the next one is we should all hail what I like to call my queen bee as our most important organ. So is our most important sex organ, I'm sorry.
Well, our biggest sex organ is our brain.
Yeah.
Then we go to our vulva and our vagina and our clitoris having 8,000 nerve endings.
Yeah.
And is strictly a sexual organ. See,
Mhm.
this is why I needed my 3D clitoris. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll make sure to bring my 3D clitoris next time. I'm going to make sure I have that for you.
Yes.
But, your brain is your first sex organ.
Mhm.
And then the body comes and fills in place. And there are different erogenous zones for everyone.
Yes.
So that's also important to say.
Yeah.
And one of our other viewers says they're eating salmon as we speak. Yes.
Yes.
And it's so and I like to prepare my salmon in salsa.
Ooh.
I'll bake it in salsa, like the real spicy zingy type of salsa. And then just let that bake and broil in there. And then, oh my goodness, it comes out really succulent. Or just basted in garlic by itself. Yeah, oh man.
And we didn't mention
maybe
chili.
That's why I stay
Chili
horny all the time.
Well, yeah, because it's both chili and salmon.
Yes, and we can't forget the oysters. We didn't bring
oysters. Yeah.
Seafood just has a marvelous way of showing us body love. So,
sure
invest in your seafood. And again, I also feel like your gynecologist will be really excited that you're moving in this direction, and it serves you for the long haul.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we love ourselves.
Yes.
So the fifth one, we know this is a myth, but aphrodisiacs do not work.
Well, chocolate is an aphrodisiac.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that they do work.
Mm-hmm.
There are different things here that are part of aphrodisiacs. And if we even think about when we open our fruit, and we look in fruit like this, or in fruit like our avocados, they have a vagina.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have our female organs even in our fruits, or they may look phallic.
Yeah.
So we have to remember, there is love and aphrodisia in our food. There always has been. Food is definitely a way to entice one another, feed one another, and even if you're eating it, it is still a form of enticement for your libido. So that's really, really important. What other myth you get? Let's just bust them all out.
Libido declines with age, and having low sex drive is rare.
Yeah, that's a big old lie. Your grandparents are having sex. I'm sorry to break it to you. That is good news for you, because as you mature and get wiser, not necessarily older, but as you get wiser, you will see that you have more self-awareness. You are more adept to create your own barriers, to speak up for yourself.
Yes.
You know your own needs. You've kind of, had a little practice. You figured it all out. So at all ages, if you are unwed and you are 75 and you are still dating and you COVID dating, you still have the responsibility of using contraception.
Okay, so with our libido in mind, so if I'm not quote unquote wed, what can I do to still because I still want to have sex. So how can I make it more enjoyable for me and my partner? Most importantly.
We want to introduce some items, and this can change with the body. And this is why I say, your gynecologist is your body mechanic, and every woman has a different version of their vaginal secretions, and it also may be akin to your diet. It may be akin to your environment. It may be something genetic, and that's why we have to make friends with our body mechanic.
Yes,
and we can talk about these types of things. And when you brought that up, remember we talked about the thongs.
Yes, we did talk about the thongs.
Okay, ladies, I know I've seen this trend. Some of you are wearing your thongs like up here on your back. I don't know what that is, but regardless of how and when and where you wear your thong, you should be very mindful that thongs are not for everyday use. What happens because that undergarment is thin, it is shifting in your body from your backside to your vulva.
Right.
And so what you are also doing is you are taking fecal matter from your backside into your vulva. So when we want to talk about vaginal health, and you're like, but Frenchie, I ate all the right things. I had the avocados, and I did the salmon and the salsa, and I had
and I had the spinach, but something still doesn't feel right, or my lover is concerned, or I'm concerned. We have to also be careful about our undergarments. They are not for everyday use, and make sure that if you have the opportunity to sleep with your undergarments off at night, because she wants to breathe, she wants fresh air. Just like y'all don't want to wear these face masks, your vulva, she don't want to wear those face masks either, darling. So we're not gonna wear the face mask on our vulva at night, okay? So there you go. So that's good love as well.
Yes, and I kind of want to go back into some of the maybe what if it's medical. So they say that anxiety and depression can affect your libido. And cardiovascular disease, diabetes, arthritis, thyroid disorders.
Which can also be genetic.
Yes.
So it can be passed down generationally. My mother passed down very skinny feet to me. So thanks, Mom. But just like, we have to check our breast history, we also, the whole body is impacted genetically through our DNA, through how we're socialized, through how we celebrate our bodies. So we go see our body mechanics and we talk about this. And because if sometimes if we don't present things to them, or you fill out a form when you come into the doctor, maybe you don't want to verbalize it.
Right.
Feel free to write it down, and don't use no Google MD. Don't. That's cute. Go see your body mechanic. There are clinics throughout your local area that you want to engage. So just in case there are budgetary constraints and those type of things, be mindful that there are always spaces where we can service women in their needs. And just like if you're having one of those sex toy parties and things like that, and we get excited. I want you to have that relationship with your gynecologist.
And it's also, I want to plug in that it's also good to talk to your family if you feel comfortable to do so. Talking to your parents about, if they suffer from thyroid disorder and other things like that, because like you said, it is passed down. So making sure we're having these conversations. That's why we're having this conversation today.
Yeah, and a lot of times we just don't associate our vaginal health with our family dynamics.
No.
And so it's really important that we're mindful of how our bodies are evolved from generation to generation.
Yes.
Just like if everybody got big boobs in your family, or everybody has big bum in your family, there are some other things in between all of that we also inherit. So it's totally okay, right?
Okay. Yeah. And along with your mechanics, I want to kind of go into what if I have an orgasmic disorder? So what if it's an actual disorder within myself? Who can I see for that?
Your body mechanic.
My body mechanic?
Your body mechanic, your gynecologist. Sometimes there are also specialists. There are people who experience pelvic inflammatory disorders. Yes. If you are having uncomfortable sex and you're not sure why, do not think that is how it's supposed to be. We can definitely, there are gynecologists, there are sex clinicians that can help you. There are occupational therapists and physical therapists as well that can help you with pelvic inflammatory disorders or challenges also. So that's another important thing. And that's why, to make ourselves stronger, we have to do our Kegel exercise. We have so many responsibilities. Damn it. We have to eat right. We got to do our Kegel exercises. We got to find healthy lovers. We got to cherish our periods. Damn, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. But we're women. We do it anyway. Yeah. It is what it is.
And it's a part of your self-love journey too. So I definitely want you guys to be encouraged to look into that. And also, if you are experiencing some of these disorders or dysfunctions as well, I hate to call them disorders and dysfunctions because they're not dysfunctions. But if you are experiencing
challenges.
Yes, challenges. I like that word a little bit better. But if you're experiencing these things, you also can seek counseling as well. So there's sex therapists that you can go see and get a better understanding of why you're experiencing these things and work on a plan to help you get to a better point.
And P.S.
Mm-hmm.
Your pastor is not a sex therapist. Your pastor is not a relationship counselor. So you should go to those who are certified and have expertise in the concerns that you have. And that means coming out of our social circles, even when it feels a little more comfortable there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have to go get the information that we need from reliable sources.
Right.
So it's really important that we recognize who a reliable source is. Not just people that, that we look up to, our heroes, you know. So we can kind of be controlled into thinking that that's the space because we like them, because they're popular, because they have a crowd, but that what they have may not be the expertise that you need for your body. So that's very important also.
So I kind of want to bring up a self-love journal that I brought in. We will have one winner who will win this. This is a sexual pleasure journal.
This gorgeous chocolate sister.
Yes.
Yes, she is. Go ahead, talk about this book. I'm going to go through it.
So this journal is something that you can do on a daily basis. It has different journal entries. You'll usually log it in at the night or in the beginning of the day, whenever you want to journal. But it has different steps and workbook exercises for you to discover yourself and experience self-love. So there's one in there that's kind of my favorite.
I like the one, how sexy did you feel today on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yes.
See, I'm about 8 today. I'm feeling all right with that. All right, go ahead. Okay.
It's another one that asks you to draw your vulva and how you see it. So just, again, experiencing, you want to start with yourself when it comes to your self-love. So drawing out your journal. So we'll pick one winner, and one winner will win this lovely journal. And we'll plug where we got the journal as well in the resources when we end the exercise.
Yes, because we have to do our work. We have to do our work. This is death to faking orgasms. Yes, come on. Yes. Yeah, you might want this. And also, if you have questions before we wrap up this segment, feel free to drop us a line. Don't let us just sit here and do all the talking. We're here for you. So
this is an open discussion.
You can give us some scenarios. We won't tell anybody. Just fake the names and we'll figure it out together. So that's another option. But this is
can I start with the questions? Because I have one that I used to hear a lot of times when I was an undergrad. And I was like, okay, I tell my partner, I went to go get checked. And the response of my partner was that, oh, well, that means I'm good. And I'm just like, well, no,
that means you good.
Yeah, that means I'm good. I got this, my receipt that I had for my results.
So unfortunately, we only take the boys to the doctor when they break something.
Mm.
Like they literally almost have to have an intestine popping out their stomach or something in order to go to a doctor.
Right.
So parents have to practice building that engagement relationship for guys. Checked out. But one person being vaginally well does not in any way equate to you and your partner being safe. Everyone has to take initiative and responsibility. He's got to get a penis check, and you got to get a vulva check for the queen, and then everyone wins. And it's the same thing if you have alternate partners and alternate relationships.
Yes.
Everyone is required to get checked out.
Yes.
That is not a gender item to do. That is a human item to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So no matter who your lover is, no matter how your partner identifies, everyone is accountable. Right? Because sometimes we do things that may not come to light right away, or we don't, we haven't been eating as well as we should and could. And there are other things going on with our body, or We've talked about DNA and family lineage and what they pass on to us. So everyone is definitely responsible. And being responsible demonstrates that you not only care about yourself, but your partner.
Yes.
So make everyone care.
Yes, make everyone care. I love that.
Just make everyone care.
I have one more question.
Yes.
So we talked about all the great foods. What are some foods that can be harmful to the libido?
Have you heard of any lately? We talked about this, but I'm gonna take a swig anyway. Mm-hmm.
I've heard sugars, but fruit are sugars. So like what sugars exactly?
Well, we're talking about processed sugars.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about we have to be mindful and careful around soy.
Mm-hmm.
And also for women who have a history of breast cancer,
mm-hmm.
alcohol is an inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember my doctor told me that, and I was like, no, say it as in so, because I love happy hour, and
mm-hmm.
he was like, no, it's so, and he said, just give me 1 week, and I was like, Well, I was like, I gotta listen to my mechanic, okay, right. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I said, damn, there went happy hour, so now I don't have happy hour as often mm-hmm. as I used to. So definitely sugars. We could talk about soys, processed foods. Mm-hmm. Fast foods are not our friend. They are, designed to be in passing.
Right.
But again, all we have to do is just add a few more things mm-hmm. and, create the fun. And what's really cool, if people are really like into TikTok, they have some really cool videos on cooking. Now you have like Tabitha Brown with the vegan. Hello there. I love her.
That's
She's
your business.
That's your business. Exactly. I'm like, I don't even eat vegan food, but I'm going to try it right now. Mm-hmm. So, and just knowing that, I can equate what I eat with my sexual health if I want to have this great, healthy sex life. Mm-hmm. That's really, really important.
And a lot of these items can be made quickly. Like we talked about the sweet potato fries, you can cut those up, put it in the air fryer.
Yes, and let's give a shout out to Honey Pot. We just have so many things here. And again, remember, simply, all of these items combined together were only $20.
Yeah.
So, if you're COVID dating, COVID loving, seeing people on the other side of the mask, eat well, be well, feel well, and love yourself. That is what is most important. Mm-hmm. And we're going to wait for some of our viewers to chime in. And what are they going to do to get this awesome journal?
So we recorded who came into the live. So whoever came into the live first on Instagram will give the person the self-love or the self-pleasure journal.
It pays to be on time, y'all.
And then there'll be another gift for the Facebook winner as well. So
yay.
And before we close out, I did one thing I left it out is supplements. So we talk about yogurt, and yogurt has probiotics, mm-hmm. but there's mm-hmm. also these things that we've been seeing on the market, such as pink pills and supplements that can help. And disclaimer, we are not gynecologists, so you want to always check in with your mechanic. But there are tools out there, Black-owned tools that you can use to increase your libido.
Well, we should also, recognize that if it weren't for Black women, that the steroid, what is it? The tool that they use for looking into, yes. I cannot think of the name of it.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
The specula, yes, there we are. So if it were not for Black women being used in gynecological studies,
yes,
we would not have the specula. Mm-hmm. So it is a part of our history, yes. And it is a part of our responsibility to get checked out, and just know that in the spirit of getting checked out, it is an ode to your ancestors. How about that?
I love that. An ode to your ancestors. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll have all the resources and the list of the do's and don'ts and the myths on our She Equals the Change page, our Instagram page, our Facebook, and Sexual Health and Everything website. So whatever platform you're on, you can always click our link tree and go to our website. Next week, we will, well, not next week, but on July 29th, we'll have Shawnee Hart. She'll be talking about Let's Play, which is a part 2 of our sexual pleasure. So we're going to be talking about masturbation and just fun in the bedroom when it comes to playing and toys and things like that. So
I don't want to miss that show.
You don't want to miss that because it's going to be really great. And she's right here in the DMV. She has 2 stores, so we look forward to seeing you in that. And we're doing a lot of different episodes and series when it comes to Sexual Health and Everything campaign. So just stay tuned and follow our networks here on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, whatever platform you're looking at. Just keep being in the know and just keep looking and share the information. And thank you, Frenchie.
Thank you
for your knowledge and wisdom.
Thank you, everyone, for viewing. And if you have questions, just make sure you reach out. We're here for you.
Yes.